Hello everyone, this is Rick and today we are going to discuss about some of the major discoveries of the Indus Valley Civilization. In our last videos, we have discussed about all the major aspects of Harappan culture in great detail. So this will be an ending video of the Indus Valley series where we will discuss about few of the important discoveries of the Harappan culture. We will start with Grainery. Granary is a place where it is assumed that food grains were stored. It was discovered as one of the largest structures in Indus Valley cities and was discovered in Harappa in Pakistan by Sir Mortimer Wheeler in the 1950s. So Granary was one of the biggest structure of the Indus Valley Civilization. It was discovered by Sir Mortimer Wheeler in the year 1950s. Significance. This served as a central storage facility indicating advanced planning and societal organization. So this acted as a storage facility. Featured air ducts and platforms for storing grains, showcasing sophisticated engineering. So there was proper ventilation system with the help of air ducts and platforms for storing grain, and all this suggested the technical superiority of the Indus Valley people. Indicates the surplus production of grains possibly used for trade and to support a large urban population. So this indicates that there was surplus production of farming products, there was surplus agricultural produce, and that act as a commodity for trade and also supported the huge urban population of the Harappan culture. Now, what were the agricultural practices? This granary reflects the advanced agricultural practices and the importance of grain in the Indus Valley economy. So, from this infrastructure of storing grain, we can understand that there was advanced agricultural practices and grain was considered to be very important in the Indus Valley economy. Now, comparative analysis. If we do comparative analysis, we will find that similar granaries are found in other Indus Valley sites like Mohenjo-Daro, which suggest a widespread network of food storage and distribution. So people had huge knowledge about the infrastructure required for storing grains in the Harappan culture. Next up, we have the Great Bath. This is one of the most important structure that was discovered at Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan by Sir John Marshall in the 1920s. This is one of the most important discovery in the Indus Valley Civilization. Now, what was it and what was it used for? The purpose was likely for ritual bathing, indicating the importance of cleanliness and possibly religious rituals. So there the purpose of the Great Bath has been debated. Few people consider it to be a place of ritual bathing, which indicates that people had importance towards the cleanliness, and this was probably a religious event in which people took ritualistic bath. Construction. Now this is made up of waterproof brick with steps leading down to the pool, showcasing advanced engineering. The entire structure was waterproof to prevent leakage, and it also had steps leading down to the pool. It was just like a very advanced modern swimming pool. Now, social gathering may have served as a communal gathering place for social and religious ceremonies. So, this may have been used as a communal gathering place for social and religious ceremonies. Water management. The water management system is very interesting because it featured a sophisticated drainage system highlighting the civilization's expertise in water management, and this was situated on a higher platform. So people had to have a different level of engineering skill to fill this one with water which was brought in from a lower platform. So this indicates that there was a sophisticated drainage system. Now, what was the cultural significance? This represents one of the earliest public water tanks and emphasis on public hygiene and ritual purity. So, this is one of the earliest water tank in whole of the Indian subcontinent that gives us an idea about public hygiene and ritual purity of the people in Harappan culture. Next up we have the dancing girl. This is a dancing girl statue that was discovered in Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan by Ernest Mackay in the 1920s. This is a statue of a dancing girl which was discovered in Mohenjo-Daro in 1920s. Material. This is made up of bronze. It showcases the advanced metallurgy of Indus Valley Civilization. Since it is made up of bronze, we can get an idea about the advanced knowledge in alloying techniques that was used by the people in Indus Valley Civilization. Now it has a huge artistic value because this figure is a rare example of Indus Valley art, highlighting their skill in creating lifelike representations. So this is very important on the perspective of art because it is a very rare specimen which highlights the skill of Indus Valley people in producing or making lifelike representations. Now, cultural insights suggest the presence of dance and possibly entertainment for spiritual practices in their society. So, this suggests that people used or people had different mediums of entertainment in the form of dance or other spiritual practices in the society of Harappan culture. Now, archaeological significance. This provides insight into clothing, jewelry, and social life of the period. So from this statue of dancing girl, we find an insight into how people used to dress, how they used to decorate themselves with the help of different kinds of jewelries, and that altogether shows the social life of the period. Now, global comparison. The craftsmanship compares favorably with contemporary civilizations, indicating a high level of cultural development. So, it compares favorably with the contemporary civilizations that of Mesopotamia or Egypt, and that indicates that there was a high level of cultural development. That is all we can understand from this statue of dancing girl. Next up we have the priest king. The discovery of the priest king was in Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan, again by Sir John Marshall in the 1920s. So priest king was a statue discovered in Mohenjo-Daro by Sir John Marshall in the 1920s. Material and craftsmanship. How was it made? Carved from steatite, it reflects the sophisticated artistry and the craftsmanship of the time. So this was a statue carved out of the rock steatite, and that reflects that people had the ability of great craftsmanship in Harappan culture. Now, symbolism. The figure is thought to represent a high-ranking figure, possibly a priest or a ruler, indicating a structured social hierarchy. So there was a class division in the society, and that can be understood by this priest king sculpture, which may represent a high-ranking figure who was possibly a priest or a ruler. Dress and ornaments. The intricate carvings on the rope and ornaments suggest the importance of textiles and jewelry in their culture. So there are carvings on the rope, as you can see on the picture in the left hand side, and the decoration with ornaments in like the headband and other stuff show that people had a sense of fashion and sense of how to use jewelry in their culture. Facial features. The detailed facial features and beard might indicate grooming practices and aesthetic preferences. So the beard, which is very much properly seen in the priest king sculpture, shows that people had grooming practices and also had some kind of aesthetic preferences in order to see how they look. The figure's posture and attire suggest a person of authority, possibly with religious significance. So, even though we don't know whose sculpture this is, but possibly it was a person with great authority and who had a religious significance in the Indus Valley culture. Next up we have the mother goddess figurine. This is one of the most important discovery in the Indus Valley Civilization, and it was not only discovered in one place but numerous mother goddess figurines were discovered across various Indus sites including Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro by various archaeologists during the 20th century. So throughout the 20th century, wherever proper excavation was done, we find existence of mother goddess figurines across almost all the sites of Indus Valley Civilization. And now we will go through the symbolism. This represents fertility and earth, indicating the importance of fertility deities in their religion. So this may have a connection with the fertility cult, and that indicates the importance of fertility deities in their religion, and similar cultural practices are still ongoing in modern Indian subcontinent. Material. This is made out of terracotta, showing prevalent use of locally available materials. So wherever we find terracotta, we understand the fact that people prefer to use the locally available materials. Hence, this was made out of terracotta. Cultural importance. This reflects the matrilineal or mother-centric aspect of the Indus Valley religious beliefs. So, Indus Valley religious beliefs followed a mother-centric or matrilineal approach towards their spiritual activities, and that can be understood from the finding of mother goddess figure from almost all the sites of Indus Valley Civilization. Variations in this figurine suggest diversity in artistic expression and possibly regional variations in worship. So even though the attributes were same, but the kind of ornaments used, the kind of headdress used, the kind of necklaces and dresses used were different in different parts. So the general attribute was the same, but there was a diversity which suggests that people in different areas used to have different kind of artistic expressions, and also probably there were regional variations for worship of the female deity. Now, comparison with other civilizations brings out the fact that this is similar to fertility symbols found in other ancient cultures, indicating a common theme in the early human religion. So that was all about the mother goddess, where we understand that a female figure used to be worshipped in the Harappan culture, and that represented fertility and earth, which brings out the importance of fertility deities in the Harappan culture. Next up we have the Pashupati Seal. The discovery of Pashupati Seal was again in Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan by Sir John Marshall in the 1920s. So this is a seal which depicts a figure possibly representing a proto-Shiva, indicating early forms of Hindu deities. So the figure here can be identified with that of modern Shiva in the Hindu culture, whom we worship as a god of distraction and balance today. So thus the figure here depicts a proto-Shiva, and that can be related to the modern Hindu culture. Seals were used for making trade and possibly administrative purposes, indicating a complex economy and governance. Now this is a seal, and seals, as we have discussed in our video about Harappan crafts and trade, we can understand the fact that seals were used for trade and possibly for administrative purposes also. Seals were a symbol of authenticity in trade, or it was also a symbol of authority in economy and governance. Seals may also have the purpose of differentiating classes in a society. A separate tribe may have a separate seal, but there can be no doubt that this Pashupati seal was highly significant because it relates to the modern culture of Hinduism. Animals surrounding the central figure suggest a deity of nature or lord of animals, reflecting religious beliefs. So we find animals like elephant, bulls, tigers, rhinoceros all around the sculpture of Shiva, and that represents that the deity can be considered to be lord of animals, which again is one of the religious beliefs relating to the modern culture of Hinduism. The intricate carving reflects high level of craftsmanship and the symbolic importance of the seal. So the carving of the proto Shiva in the Pashupati seal is very much detailed, and that reflects the expertise of people in crafts and the symbolic importance of seals in the Harappan culture. Next up we have the Dockyard. This is one of the largest structures in the Indus Valley Civilization, and it was discovered in Lothal by Sir S.R. Rao in the 1950s. So this was assumed to be a place where ships used to gather, hence it was named as a dockyard by Sir S.R. Rao in the 1950s. It is one of the earliest known docks in the world, indicating advanced maritime trade and technology. So, wherever we find a dockyard, we can understand that it was a place used for docking of ships, and ships dock only when there is highly advanced maritime trade, and ships the building of ships also suggested the technical superiority of the Indus Valley people. Engineering. It featured a sophisticated layout with a lock gate system, highlighting the engineering skills of the Indus Valley people. So there was a lock gate system for proper flow of water and maintaining of the water level so that the ships can dock inside the dockyard. Hence, this indicates the engineering skill of the people in Harappan culture. Trade and commerce. This served as a major port for trade with contemporary civilization of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and possibly also Africa, indicating a wide trade network. So when there is a dockyard of this scale and size, we can understand that there was huge network of trade, and that network spread up to Mesopotamia, Egypt, and possibly even Africa. Reflects the importance of urban planning and strategic role of Lothal as a trade hub. So the urban planning of the Indus Valley people was very much matured, and this presence of dockyard in Lothal also indicates that Lothal was a city which was a trading hub of the Harappan culture because it had access to maritime sea routes with the help of the dockyard. This changed our understanding of the Indus Valley Civilization's reach and its interaction with other civilizations. So until the discovery of the dockyard, we used to consider the Indus Valley Civilization as a very self-centric civilization. But from the evidence of the dockyard, we can understand the fact that people from here had contact or reach up to the contemporary civilizations of Mesopotamia and Egypt, and that was very significant. Now, Kalibangan fire altars. This is another important ritualistic discovery of the Indus Valley Civilization. The fire altars were discovered in Kalibangan in India by Sir B.B. Lal in the 1960s. So, B.B. Lal, one of the greatest archaeologists in the Indian subcontinent, discovered the fire altars in Kalibangan in the 1960s. Now, what was the religious significance? This indicates the practice of fire worship, a tradition that has parallels in later Hindu rituals. So, here we can see fire worship tradition, and that tradition has been continued in later Hindu rituals. It has been continued in the form of sacrificial rituals in whole of the Indian subcontinent. The archaeological significance is that this provides evidence of ritualistic practices suggesting a complex religious life. So this was an important ritualistic practice, and that suggests that people had a complex religious life drawn towards spirituality. Found within the residential area, this indicates the fact that religious practices were integrated into daily life. Now, this site where the fire altars were found were not on the outskirts of Kalibangan. It was directly in the residential area, and from that fact we can understand that religious played a vital role in the daily lives of the people in the Harappan culture. This suggests the continuity between Indus Valley religious practices and later South Asian traditions. So this tradition which we follow in whole of South Asia, that is fire worship and sacrifice through fire, has been seen that that worship has its origin in the Indus Valley Civilization. So this is a linking factor. The discovery of Kalibangan fire altars are linking factor towards the Indus Valley culture and the contemporary, the modern Hindu culture of the South Asian people. The construction of altars shows advanced architectural techniques and symbolic design. So people had advanced architectural technique along with a sense of symbolism which was dedicated towards spirituality, and thus Kalibangan fire altars are very important since it gives us a link with a modern India and that of the Indus Valley culture. Shiva Lingam. Now, Shiva Lingams have been found in many places. Stone lingams interpreted by some as representations of Shiva were found in various Indus Valley sites including Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro areas by different archaeologists during the 20th century excavations. So this was not a discovery in a single site. Different Shiva Lingams have been found all throughout Indus Valley civilizations including the Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro areas throughout the 20th century wherever major excavations occurred. The lingam is considered as a symbol of Lord Shiva, suggesting early worship practices related to this deity. So this is another linking factor of the connection, which shows the connection between Indus Valley people and modern Hinduism. That is, the lingam is considered as a symbol of Lord Shiva, and along with that we also find the existence of Pashupati Seal and fire worship, representations of one of the earliest evidences of Shaivism, a modern branch of Hinduism. So this can be considered to be one of, even though debatable, this can be considered to be one of the earliest evidences of Shaivism in the Indian subcontinent. Made from stone, these artifacts showcase that Indus Valley people had skill in carving religious objects. This was made from stone, and just like other religious sculptures in Indus Valley civilization, we can understand that people were skilled in carving religious objects. Now, interpretation and debate. The identification of these objects as lingams is subject to scholarly debate, reflecting the complexities of interpreting ancient symbols. So, this is a matter of scholarly debate, even though it resembles the modern Shiva, but still some of the archaeologists disagree with the fact that it has any linkage with the resemblance of Shaivism. Historical continuity suggests a continuity of his religious traditions from Indus Valley civilization to later Indian religion. So, just like discussed, this is one of the linking factor between Indus Valley civilization and later Indian religion in the Indian subcontinent. Now, Chandu bead factory. This was discovered in the site of Chandu in Pakistan by N.G. Majumdar in the 1930s, and different stages of bead production have been found in this site. Demonstrate the advanced craftsmanship of the Indus Valley people in making beads from semi-precious stones, metals and terracotta. So we from the site of Chandu we get evidences of advanced craftsmanship of the Indus Valley people in the form of making beads from semi-precious stones, metals and also terracotta. So these were the materials used for making of semi-precious stones in the Indus Valley culture. Indicates a specialized industry for bead production, reflecting the economic complexity of the society. So there was an existence of a specialized form of craft in the form of bead making, and people used to dedicate their lives for this specialized industry, and that reflects the economic complexity in the Harappan society. Beads were likely used for trade and personal adornment, suggesting a form of economic exchange and social status. So beads were probably a commodity of trade, and also it was used for personal decoration or adornment, and that suggests a form of economic exchange and social status. The variety and quality of beads show the technological skills in drilling, shaping and polishing. So there are varieties of beads found in Chandu, and that suggests the technological skill in drilling, shaping and polishing of the beads made by the Harappan people. Beads are often found in burials and settlements, which provide us an insight into the cultural and aesthetic values of the Indus Valley people. So beads are often found in burials, and Harappan beads have been found in royal burials of Mesopotamian civilization also. That gives us the importance of beads as a trading commodity, and also it provides us an insight into the cultural and aesthetic values of Indus Valley people. So that was all about the major discoveries of the Harappan culture, and with that we will end our Indus Valley series. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments, and please go through all the other videos in the Indus Valley series to get a detailed comprehensive idea of the entire civilization. I have tried to cover all the aspects of Harappan culture in great detail. Hope you like it, and as usual, thank you for supporting me, and support me so that I can bring brighter contents in future. Thank you so much.